Everyone, for our next installment of January, we're going to be making applesauce. Now, I'm not actually going to be water bath canning this. I'm going to be putting it in the fridge, mainly because I ran out of jars. And I know that some people are comfortable with doing like a Rebel can method. I'm not, so, but again, your kitchen, your rules. So for the applesauce, I'm going to start with washing, peeling, and coring the apples. And what I mean by Rebel canning, if you've not heard that phrase before, is not following the guidelines for home canning. So using reusable store jars can totally be fine in the fridge, but it is not recommended for home canning. You need the two-piece, so the ring and the lid system, in order to can things at home, those two pieces. And there are some people that are okay with canning in just the singular jar that you get from the store. Again, their kitchen, their rules. In mine, I'm not going to do that for shelf-stable products. And what I really like about making applesauce is that your fruit doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little wrinkly, can have blemishes. As long as I don't add them into the product, it shouldn't affect my taste at all. So I'm just going to cut this out and keep peeling away. Also, your knife cuts don't really matter for this. Obviously, smaller apples will break down faster than larger chunks, so probably have them about the same size, but it doesn't really matter. Also, if there's a little bit of skin in here, it's fine. It's not going to ruin your applesauce. But yeah. Okay, all my apples are in. I have my crock pot to high. You can do low, it's just going to take longer. And then I'm going to add water just so that the bottom is covered and my apples don't burn. You can always add more if you need it. It's just much harder to add less. Well, you scratch that. You're just continuing to cook down if you add less anyway. And then I'm going to add maybe a scoop or two of brown sugar. This is, again, optional. And you can add more or less to your taste. I like to start small and then I will add more later. I will also add like some cinnamon in here if I'm feeling it, or nutmeg, some warming spices, but start simple. You can always add more. And then we're just gonna let this cook down for honestly a couple hours, and you'll see the apples, instead of this yellowish color, will start to turn deep, rich brown as it takes on those spices and the sugar. So it's been about an hour, and you can already tell that some of the color is starting to change on the apples. And I'm just going to keep letting these go because they're not quite where I want them to be yet. Essentially, you're going to keep going. Sorry, that's all that steam. Until the apples are really soft. Okay, look how beautiful these apples look. They are nice and soft. The color of your apples might depend on if you used more or less brown sugar, if you used white sugar instead, if you did or didn't use cinnamon. That's okay. What we're looking for rather than color is the texture. These are really soft. I can squish these with a spoon. So now I'm going to use my immersion blender to kind of blend all these up. If you have a potato masher, go for that, or a fork. Whatever you have, go ahead and use it. And that's it. Applesauce. Now for me personally, I'm probably going to add a little bit more brown sugar to this, so it's just a hint sweeter, but otherwise I'm just going to put them in these jars, let them cool to room temperature, and then put them in the fridge, just because, you know, you don't typically put hot food directly in your fridge. Anyway, thanks for following along, learning how to make applesauce, and happy January. Remember, it doesn't have to be all shelf-stable foods. I think January is more about preserving food, seeing what you have, and getting ready for springtime in the garden. So thanks everyone for following along. Talk to you later. Bye everyone.